Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Setting the Agenda. I'm Meghna Dekha. Where on Saturday, Madison Square Garden in New York, one of the most spectacular settings that we have seen, is all setting the stage for a fresh India-linked political showdown. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat is already in New York for a major Indian-American gathering, all set to address what is being billed as an event for oneness at this iconic venue, which has hosted in the past big events such as Howdy Modi as well. But that message of oneness, of universal oneness, is being challenged by Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who sees what he calls an exclusionary vision and has made it very clear that he does not support the rally. But before we delve deep into Zohran Mamdani's chart sheet against RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, let's take you through the details of the event itself. What is this event about? Well, this is all about Mohan Bhagwat's New York event, which is going to be held on 29th, which is this Saturday itself. It is called the Universal Oneness Celebrations event. That is the theme of this entire thing. In fact, it is being organized by American Hindus for engagement and dialogue ahead. It is on RSS's centenary year outreach, one which is going to reach out to the Indian diaspora as well. Bhagwat will be delivering the keynote address in this, and also this is going to be emphasizing and focusing on issues such as unity, social harmony, civic responsibility, unity above and over everything else. Also, the audience is going to comprise of, as I was telling you, the Indian American community is hosting it, and they are the ones who are going to be engaging it. About 5,000 and even more than that people are expected there at the Universal Oneness event. So this is what Mohan Bhagwat has gone there for. Meanwhile, let's also coming back to Zohran Mamdani. Why does he oppose something which is meant for universal oneness? Well, the NYC mayor of Indian descent, remember, has cited what he describes as a fundamental disagreement with the ideological vision of the RSS. Mamdani says that India that he was taught by his family was very different. It was an India that he describes as pluralistic and secular, where every person, irrespective of their multitude of identities, had a space. And Mamdani is making this argument not just as New York's mayor, but also by invoking his identity as an Indian American with family ties to India as well. In fact, listen in to what Mamdani has said, his specific objections to Mohan Bhagwat being part of an event which is for universal oneness.
The vision of India that I was taught by my family, and the one that I grew up being very familiar with, was of a pluralistic society, of a secular republic that believed in the belonging of each and every person who was from India. And it has been incredibly troubling to see the rise of a movement that is predicated on an exclusionary vision of any country, frankly. And so it is one that I find myself in deep opposition to, not only as an Indian American, but also as the mayor of a city that believes deeply in the belonging of each and every person, no matter their color, their creed, their religion, their faith. I don't support the rally, but I don't know if the city has any jurisdiction on canceling a private event.
And so, as Mamdani makes it clear, his opposition to Bhagwat's event at the Madison Square Garden is political and ideological, but not, by his own admission, a cancellation order. But he is not alone. There are several others as well, faith-based organizations and activities in the United States who have also been stepping up these calls to cancel RSS chief's appearance in New York's event. In fact, the Hindus for Human Rights has argued that the RSS does not represent Hindus and has accused the organization of hate and persecution. Then you have the Indian American Muslim Council, which has gone further, arguing that Bhagwat does not speak for Indian Americans and calling on US State Department to deny him a visa as well. Remember, Mohan Bhagwat's already there. This is a call which was made earlier. And just last week, we had US Commission on International Religious Freedom as well, which weighs in. And it had then called for Mohan Bhagwat to be denied what it describes a diplomatic courtesy and pushed for sanctions and a travel ban against RSS members. So the controversy has been widening from one mayor who had opposed it in a private event to a broader campaign by multiple organizations seeking action against Mohan Bhagwat and the RSS. So let me go across to Akanksha Swaroop, who's joining us. Akanksha, a lot of this is about diplomatic courtesies. A lot of this is about the fact that this is a private event. Why is Zohran Mamdani now wading into an issue which seems to be eminently a personal trip and a private event?
Right. So many have in fact labelled Zohran Mamdani's own political and social beliefs as being very pseudo-secular in nature. But more importantly, this is not new. If you look at his own leanings, he's been someone who's locked horns with the US President Donald Trump himself and is known to be an anti-establishment figure, not just in the US arena of politics, but also as far as Indian politics is concerned, given his controversial remarks against Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So what he is saying about Mohan Bhagwat is not coming or arriving as much surprise. This despite the RSS issuing a communique that this is going to be a program which will be known as a universal oneness program. He will be hosted by the Ahead Forum, which is talking about how it will be aligned with the larger Hindu traditionalist belief in the philosophy of Vasudev Kutumbakam, or world is one, Meghna. And yet when this philosophy or the basis of this program is about uniting humanity across the globe, one really wonders what is it that Zohran Mamdani is finding so problematic. But more importantly, it's not just Mamdani. You have these civil rights groups, as you were also highlighting, and various interfaith community organizations also that are urging the Madison Square Gardens authorities to in fact cancel that entire license to the event. But perhaps the matter has already been put to rest, as Mamdani has gone on record to say that this is a private event and he does not have the authority to do so. But remember, it's not just the United States. Mohan Bhagwat is also receiving much backlash in other countries. Canada is going to be one of the pit stops as well, where the opposition party like NDP also has lawmakers penning a letter to the UK Foreign Minister to put a stop to that event as well.
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, taking off from what Akanksha was telling us, there are others also who are coming out and opposing Mohan Bhagwat making that keynote address in New York. In fact, one of the person who's one of perhaps the strongest American calls which is coming in for action against the RSS is none other than the USCIRF Commissioner, Asif Mahmood. Now, who is Asif Mahmood? It's important for us to understand that, to understand his opposition perhaps to Mohan Bhagwat. He is a Pakistani-American doctor. He's an activist who was born in Haryana of Pakistan before he moved to the United States. Having ran for Congress on a Democratic ticket, he has now been appointed as a commissioner of the USCIRF, which is a UN body which looks into religious freedom, not in America, but in other nations, and opines about what should be done about other nations. In fact, Mahmood has been particularly vocal ever since he's taken up office earlier this year, and what he calls the persecution of Muslims and Christians in India specifically, while he has maintained a stoic silence on his own home origin, which is in Pakistan, and the persecution of the minorities in Pakistan, be it even the Balochis, and what is happening in POK. But that aside, there's another big voice which is now coming in, countering Zohran Mamdani, and this is coming again from America. This time it is US singer Mary Milliban. Well, she has hit back at the critics of RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat proposed Madison Square Garden event. Remember, she is the singer who had sung the national anthem as well when the Prime Minister himself had gone to New York for that big Howdy Modi event. You can see her on your screens, those visuals coming in from that year. She had accused now Zohran Mamdani and the others of opposing the event for political reasons. In fact, she has argued that MSG responds to commercial considerations. Milliban has also said that she hopes that Oneness event features a meaningful discussion. In fact, let me go across to Hina Gambhir. Hina, can you tell us what are the specific points that Mary Milliban has made against Zohran Mamdani, I believe?
Well, Meghna, now Mary Milliban is an international singer and she's someone who's never shied away from expressing her admiration for India and Indians in particular. And that is the reason why, defending this event, she's posted a long post on social media platform X saying Mamdani and all these socialists are opposing the Madison Square Garden event featuring Mohan Bhagwat because they oppose Prime Minister Modi and the BJP. That's pretty clear. Given these people subscribe to the ideology of socialism, they don't understand capitalism. She says MSG does not answer to socialist rants, they answer to capitalism, and thus this event will go on because of it. Now, she also has an advice for New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. She has said that, him and his cohort of socialists should become capitalists, raise money, rent MSG, and then host own rally for anti-Modi foolishness. Side note, I really like the rally title. She says, Oneness, we are one family. I hope this rally includes meaningful dialogue on religious freedom in India. And what's also very interesting, Meghna, is the picture that she has put out along with this particular post, which has Prime Minister Modi on one side, Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, on the other, and there you have the picture of Mary Milliban herself as well in this particular picture that she has put out on social media platform X.
Well, of course, Mary Milliban, the international singer, has long been seen as someone who's admired India and the Indian government as well. She's come out in strong and staunch defense of the RSS chief. Thank you so much for joining us, Hina. Now, back home, of course, this is an event which is happening all the way across in New York City, but then back home, that's where the explosions and the fireworks are actually happening. Mamdani's remarks have quickly become ammunition to the BJP and the RSS's political battle. The opposition voices are now seizing on his exclusionary vision charge, which Mamdani had made to target the BJP and the RSS, turning the New York controversy into another attack on the ruling establishment's ideological politics. But the BJP is pushing back, dismissing what it sees as foreign commentary on India's political and ideological landscape. So the counter-attack is essentially that why should the views of an American mayor be allowed to define a debate over RSS in India? Watch this war of words.
नफरत बोने वाले लोग हैं ये, इन्होंने समाज में नफरत बोई है, अब नफरत ही इनको मिल रही है, जो बोगे वही तो काटोगे।
देखिए, ममदानी का तो अधिकार ही नहीं है कि उसको रोक सके, न रोक पाएंगे, लेकिन उन्हें सिर्फ न्यूज़ में रहने के लिए और एक सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी को खुश करने के लिए उन्होंने इस तरह के बयान दिए। उनको भी पता है कि उनके अधिकार क्षेत्र में से के बाहर है और वहाँ की जनता और 5,000 से 10,000 लोग जो मेडिसन स्क्वायर पे आएंगे वो बिल्कुल पीस लविंग यूनिटी के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं और सुनने वाले हैं, जो आदरणीय मोहन भागवत जी बात करने वाले हैं। ऐसे में ममदानी का इस तरह का स्टेटमेंट जो है वो डिविसिव स्टेटमेंट है और कहीं ना कहीं लोगों को उत्तेजित करने वाला स्टेटमेंट है।
The RSS's Seva International has over 200 Seva projects that work in America, whether it's a hurricane or COVID. The FBI has never ever called the RSS extremists. So who is Zohran Mamdani to give a certificate? He is a part of the Tukre Tukre gang. When you talk about stop Hindu hate, why are you playing appeasement politics, sir? Do understand the doublespeak where America, you allow a Khalistan rally, you allow or you support Hamas supporters, and there when Mohanji Bhagwat is taking a proactive stand to reach out to 2 lakh Hindu Americans who are doctors, engineers, taxi drivers contributing to America, you have come up with this vote bank politics.
So there you have it. The event is in New York, but the fireworks are right here in India. Let me, in fact, go across to Pragya, my colleague who's joining us with more details on this. Pragya, it's very interesting. Zohran Mamdani is well known for the controversies that he's managed to stir up in the past as well. When he had talked about Umar Khalid, for example, and the Tukre Tukre gang, he talked about the persecution and so on and so forth. Now he's waded into the entire RSS Oneness event as well. Is this going to rake up the entire political issue, the political brouhaha that we've seen over the RSS in the last few days, with ban RSS calls also coming in from elected representatives in southern states?
Well, Meghna, this is nothing new for RSS. In fact, if you remember, there are many fundamentalists that have gone on record against RSS. In fact, there are many leaders in our own country, like Rahul Gandhi, who oppose RSS and have been making sounds against RSS. Despite that, Seva International is an organization that is spread across many nations, working for the well-being of people, and especially, helping out the Indian diaspora in various countries. So, if an organization that is working to serve Indian diaspora, what should be the problem of Mr. Mamdani, for that matter, who calls himself Indian American? Secondly, this looks like political ideological opposition as far as Mamdani is concerned. Remember, there is a significant Indian diaspora population in US, and in fact in New York itself there are many Indians. If RSS comes and also speaks about oneness, speaks about universal brotherhood, then this is something which is problematic for the vote bank of Mamdani, and Mamdani also knows his vote bank very clearly. In fact, he has been seen attending Pakistan functions. He has been seen controlling the Diwali festivities. He has taken a side, and this is exactly what BJP and government is saying, that he is the one who spews hatred towards India, towards the development of India. He always tries to project a negative image of India, saying that their minority are under attack, which is factually wrong. And he is the one who is tarnishing the image of India despite being Indian American himself. So, there is a clear line that BJP also draws here, and they also know that the RSS also understand this, and this is why they are not, replying to Mr. Mamdani, because they believe that, their agenda is bigger than Mamdani. Mamdani is just one person who opposes them, and in fact there are many who are opposing them. But the fact is, RSS clearly stands as a social organization that work for the people of the country, be it in America, be it in Canada, be it in UK. There is Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh that works as an offshoot organization of RSS in foreign nations, and in fact organizes these programs. And Mr. Bhagwat has every right, for that matter, to have the global outreach as far as the centenary celebrations are concerned. He had also been to Chicago as well, where he addressed the World Hindu Congress. And in fact, his ideas of a society, his ideas of world as one nation, one family, that has been accepted by many, has been received well. This is the fear of people, people like Mamdani, who believes that there is only one section of community that needs to be spoken about and whose rights they need to protect.
Well, keep tracking the political face-off that we have seen over this, and quite understandably and expectedly as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Pragya, with all those details. Meanwhile, there are more reactions which are coming in. Let's tell our viewers about that regarding what Mamdani has said. Now, you have TMC MP Shogata Roy. He's waded in. He has said that New York is a multi-religious city where RSS's theory will not work, and that this is the reason why they are going to be opposing it. Listen in.
सर, जोहरान ममदानी न्यूयॉर्क के 29 तारीख को एक इवेंट है मोहन भागवत आरएसएस चीफ का, उनका वो विरोध करने वाले हैं न्यूयॉर्क में।
वो एक तो बड़ा शहर का मेयर है ममदानी, और उनको अपना सिद्धांत लेना है, किसी को वो अलाउ करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे, इस पर हम क्या बोलेंगे। लेकिन जैसा न्यूयॉर्क जैसा शहर है मल्टी रिलीजियस, वहाँ पर आरएसएस का जो थ्योरी है वो चलेगा नहीं, इसलिए शायद वो लोग विरोध करेंगे।
जोहरान ममदानी जो मेयर हैं न्यूयॉर्क के 29 तारीख को एक इवेंट है मोहन भागवत आरएसएस चीफ का, उनका वो विरोध करने वाले हैं न्यूयॉर्क में।
वो एक तो बड़ा शहर का मेयर है ममदानी, और उनको अपना सिद्धांत लेना है, किसी को।
So there you have it, a Videshi event, but it is the Desi Tarka of politics which has managed to come into it. It's the big face-off between Mamdani and Mohan Bhagwat. Well, keep watching this space for lots more on that. With that, we wrap up Setting the Agenda. Thank you for watching us.
The number of Gen Z voters between ages of 18 and 30 would be 380 million, which is 25%.
But how?
This is the largest voting bloc.
But how does it affect? Recently, I won election in Assam. Everybody call me Mama. They have voted. They vote for me. I am sure they will vote for me again in 2029.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, in Assam, out of 14, I'll get 11 seats.